Welcome, everybody, to Wisdom Cafe Live, and hope everyone's having a wonderful day. My name is Bob Choat. I'm known as the Transformational Grandmaster. My beautiful co-host is Sofie Nubani, the queen of laughter and wisdom and so much more. I mean, I don't want to get into everything that I should say Dr. Sofie Nubani, the queen of laughter and wisdom, who hails from Orlando, Florida. So, Sofie, how's it going over there on the East Coast?
Well, today is more clear. We had a few thunderstorms yesterday, but all is well and beautiful. How is it on your end? Both of your ends, I would say.
Both of our ends. So, before I introduce our guest, I'm going to say it's been sunny here in the Los Angeles area, and no rumbles, so that's good. Because not far from where I'm at, just recently we had a small quake, and it kind of like shook me and everything. It was only like about a mile and a half from where, maybe a couple of miles from where I live, or at least close enough where I felt it, where the
That's
epicenter was.
crazy.
So, but we don't have storms here. I mean, that's interesting. We got fires though. We got that kind of thing.
Yes.
And,
Between East Coast and West Coast, we have a lot of entertainment.
yes.
Natural entertainment. Keep us on our toes.
So our guest, her name is Renee. How do you spell Reisch? Reisch?
You said
Reisch.
right.
Got it. Yeah. So Renee is an amazing individual. Here's the thing. She worked in a Fortune 500 company. She spent 25 years in that world. And I wouldn't have lasted 1 year, by the way. To go 25 years in that world and really rising and everything. And I think she put her heart and soul into it, because she had that kind of grit. And when I say grit, this gal was born in New York from the Bronx. I mean, that's grit. And then raised in Jersey. I mean, I spent a year in Jersey when I was a kid, but she was raised there in Jersey and got some of that Jersey girl kind of attitude going on. Yeah.
There you go.
But she wanted to go beyond her corporate life, and she did. She got out of that because she went through a lot of challenges and was able to rise above it. And she's going to tell her story, and she's going to also talk about her book, because that's part of why we're here, is that. And I'm going to get all that information here in a moment. And Sofie, you're going to talk about it as well. But she transitioned into coaching women and other people to help them to, like what she said when she lost her voice and then finding her voice, to find your voice. And that's really, really important. So I think a lot of people, and especially women in today's world, and I think even for a long time, they have not been able to find their voice. And I think that's a very important area, especially in a life coach arena, to be able to do that. So, Renee, I want to welcome you to Wisdom Cafe Live. And Sofie, I want you to have your insight as well.
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, welcome. And thank you for giving us your precious time. And we're so grateful for technology, truly making this world a much smaller place for us to interact and be able to connect and share with others that need to hear your message, Renee. Renee, you are a friend, you're a sister, and you're a #1 best-selling author. Yes. Can we say yay? Woohoo! That is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I am so happy that we are able to share with all our audience your story and your backstory as well. Your book is phenomenal. It helped a lot of people to connect. Even the title, Finding Your Voice, alone will be an affirmation for them to remember that they need to anchor to finding their voice. And with your name beside it, it makes it automatic. With that energy of finding someone's voice, I automatically think of Renee because of the title. And I also, because I know her backstory and I read her book as well, I know the way she wrote the book, why she wrote the book, how she wrote the book, and what she went through going while she's writing the book. And for all these authors out there, I know in our community we have a lot of speakers and authors and entrepreneurs and leaders, and we all can really gain insights from one another when we are listening to the backstories, not just the end results. The end result is always looking at the best, even if it's not the best for some. It's the best from what it was maybe months before coming out altogether. So Renee, I welcome you personally on Wisdom Cafe. Meet the author. It's so privileged to have you on our show, and thank you for your time. And I can't wait to share you with everyone else. Blessings.
Thank you, Sofie. Thank you, Pop, for having me on tonight. I am really, truly grateful to be here. It's been a journey, finding my voice. I worked in corporate America, and I was working retail at the time. So it was really a difficult time in my life because I had a sore in the middle of my throat that erupted, and I ended up in the emergency room twice. And it was very apropos that I'm here today because I had this virus that kept me a prisoner in my own home. So this self-quarantine that we're going through is something I went through in 2013. And I couldn't swallow, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. It was a real test to what, endurance and perseverance is about. So
that is even tougher when you had to quarantine by yourself. When everybody's quarantined together, they have this united energy, and also knowing that they are quarantined, not something that happened, you don't know when, and it's your health and it's you yourself. So that's something.
It really is. It was a very difficult time. I'm hearing feedback on my end. I don't know if you guys are. You hear feedback? I don't want the audience to hear that feedback. No.
Nope. You're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody can hear. So it was really a tough time in my life. And, you don't know what you're going through, but you're growing through it as you're experiencing it. They say what we go through to grow through. Because it's in that time that you don't know what's happening that you're actually experiencing the growth. That doesn't maybe come right away because I didn't know it, but years later I realized it. It's just it's something that when you're isolated, I'm a very much a connector, as you know, Sofie, and I really love people. My first love is God and my family, and the things that were taken from me are the second and third things, which is speaking and connecting with the public. And those were the things that were taken away from me. But years later, I realized they weren't taken away from me; they were taken away from me. And it was in that realization I knew what I went through was a reason, and it's to give others, especially women, who feel isolated and alone, who feel they're not good enough, who feel they're judged, who have those limiting beliefs, the self-doubt. Are they good enough? Are they ever enough? And those are the people who I'm here to serve. So that's, when you go through something so difficult and you don't know if you're ever going to come out of the opposite side of it. But I know it was by the grace of God and my best friend, who is now an angel with my dad in heaven, And that's how I got through it. He was there for me, and nobody else could be. She would come to my place with a mask on, with food to deliver to me that she felt I could try to swallow. She would cook for me, and I never knew when she was coming. If he knew I couldn't care for myself because I was
Wow.
too weak.
That is something. And you mention your friend quite often, and your loyalty and your appreciation to her being has always been with you all the time, because I haven't seen someone that carries their love for their dad and their friend all the time, consistently, as much as you. I see it in you all the time. I'm sure people maybe are doing it, but because finding your voice in you, you speak it, so we know about it more, right? And I really commend you for your loyalty, because it speaks a lot about the quality of the relationships you like to hold, and the honor as well when they are good with you. You treasure that, and they're with us now and always with you too. So that's awesome, Renee.
Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate that. You
Yes.
know, friendships to me are really important. The connections I make with people are very special. And when you're in my life, I really I cherish that time and I treasure those moments.
Yes. Yes. Quality, and quality and character truly makes the difference when we are leading, and you have a leading role in society. And for a leader to be authentic and to be genuine is very important, and it's a blessing to have that around us, and we are very grateful to be connected with this type of quality. And so welcome again, Renee Reisch.
Thank you.
Renee,
Yes.
you you mentioned the loss of your best friend and your father, and both seem to have a profound impact in your life. And after losing him, it even had a more profound impact. Was that the driving force to, besides finding your voice again, but was that part of the driving force that led you to where you are now? Number one. Number two, what in terms like your father, obviously from your early part of your life, and your best friend, how did they affect you uh, as a person?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, I think, in general, when you lose people that you're so close with, that just tears your heart out. I didn't know how I was going to survive in my life because I spent so much time with my best friend. My dad's always been a driving force in my life. It was very difficult. My best friend passed in 2017, my dad in 2018. I was
Wow.
released from corporate America in 2017. It's like, oh my gosh, because you don't even know what's happening as it's happening. You're going through the motions almost numb because it just, you just go through it. You keep going through things. And I'm fortunate that I'm close to my family. And when you have that love in your life of your family around you, it really makes a world of difference. Because when my best friend passed, they all stepped in and were there to support me. And that really, really, immediately I got my phone was ringing. My mom and dad said, come stay with us, come to us. My other brother was getting me an Uber, and he was in New York, but he was ordering an Uber in California or a Lyft,
Mm.
whatever. And he said, oh, they'll be there in 25 minutes to pick you up and take you to mom and dad's. And it was like they said, you're not going to be alone. You're not going through this by yourself.
Mm.
And it made all the difference in my survival in going through that tremendous loss. And then when my dad passed, we were all around each other to support and love each other. So,
Nice.
four-letter word is the best word in the English language I've ever learned, and it's love.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
you work as a coach now, and you offer support as a coach to especially to women that are going through challenges in their own life. Did you find the support that you got from your family have an effect on what you do as a coach?
I would say yes. I would say more so spending so much time with my best friend. We lived very close to each other and spent a lot of time together. And she always led by example. So following her lead and how she was there for her parents, she always said, follow my lead, follow my example, because she knew that I was going to be the one to have to care for my parents as they were getting older, because I'm the one that lived the closest. And so I still go to my mom quite a bit and spend time with her, as my brothers don't live as close as I do. And as far as leading women and helping them, I think, when you spoke from your heart, and I think the illness that I went through, I was always compassionate towards others and loving towards others. But when you go through something as devastating as losing your voice, and it wasn't just the loss of the voice, it was a physical pain. There were my vocal cords were riddled with pores, and being told by doctors they don't know if I'll ever speak again. Laying there in the ER, hearing the words that you're highly contagious and you may never speak again.
Oh, wow.
It was like you're being ripped apart, and life as you know it has changed and may never be the same again. It's very relevant to what's going on today as we interview on August 6th of 2020, and we're dealing with COVID-19, and life as we knew it is not the same. People need to find their voice in a different manner and pivot, and the new normal and all of those words and those terms that we try to figure out, what do I do? How do I do? And what does my life look like now? No matter what you're going through in life, look at what you have, not look at what you've lost. Because we could always go down that rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole is really dark and sometimes hard to climb out of. You're like pulling and pulling, and you don't know where it's going to, that light is going to come from. But when you surround yourself with people who really, truly love you, you're going to make it. And the thing is, don't give up on yourself, because others are waiting to hear your voice, and they're waiting for you to be there for them. The first and most important person you need to be there for is yourself. And I learned that when I lost my voice physically in 2013, I had lost it even more so metaphorically in my life. I believe the physical loss was due to the metaphoric loss, because I never felt I was good enough. And I never felt that I had a voice, that people cared about what I had to say. And like I said, the first and most important person you need to serve is yourself. And it's not selfish. It's being selfless. And like we have always heard, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to fill your own cup and take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And then and only then can you nurture others. From that cup, you can pour from your overflow.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yes.
Well, you did a great transformation, and it is what's a beautiful thing, an example for those many who need to see that and know that it's not always the daytime. There's night, and there's sunset, and there's day, and going through the different stages to get to the point where you do find your voice, speak up for yourself, believe in yourself. And have that experience yourself, which you did, Renee. And it's very empowering for those who think that they're there and they're stuck and that's their life and that's how it's going to be forever. Then definitely you will be the greatest example for those people to know that no. And for those who might not have gone through much, but truly don't have their voice out there because maybe they just need that empowerment or push or recognition, validation from somebody else to start with. Today we were on a panel and it was about self-love, and two of the panelists said that it was for one person saying something to them that really empowered them moving forward. And it's amazing. So that is not like to say validation where you can't move and your self-esteem is low, but it's always sometimes we need to be reminded of our inner powers that we already have. And it's such a beautiful role that you're taking, Renee.
Thank you, Sofie. It's the inner voice that creates the fear, and the outer voice that overcomes it. A friend of mine told me that a while back, and I'm like, it's really true, because we tend to believe stories we've been told by others that we respected, that we know, like, and trust, whether it was a teacher, whether it was a parent, whether it was a significant other who told us something that wasn't necessarily very nice. And we believed it. If they put us down in some way, because we know that person, it's a respected person in our life, we said that must be true because that person would never tell me that. That person would never hurt me that way. And then we take that story and we make it into our own movie that we play in our head over and over again. And we start acting as that person. We start taking on that role in that movie. We create it. And rather than questioning it and saying, is that really true about me? Is that person just upset with themselves or something going on in their life where they threw that dagger at me and I now believe it and I'm acting out that part? Most of the time it's not really true. But we don't even question it because we assume it's true. They tell us that. I've known teachers that have said things to their students and they took on that role their entire life. Or parents, or siblings, or loved ones, or a significant other, a husband, a wife, whoever that was that said something, or a parent that said things to a child, and they just kept on with that their whole life. And it's not true. You are good enough. You are smart enough. You are beautiful as you are, and you need to believe that. And so many of us abuse ourselves with the verbal abuse that we take on and we tell ourselves. And that's the first abusive relationship is with ourselves and to rewire our brain and tell ourselves, I am good enough. Those I am statements are powerful because when you use them and your brain hears that you are, and look at yourself in the mirror. And instead of saying, I'll never be good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, fit enough, whatever it is, start with the positives. What do you have that you offer the world? Because we're all here for a reason. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm sure I would find a lot of things that you offer, a lot of beautiful things that you offer just by being you. So be you is a hashtag I use a lot in my posts. Because when you're you're authentically you, you're beautiful, you're smart, you are a conscious creator, right? You're one with the universe and just be you and be proud of who you are.
Amen to that. Absolutely. So being an author, and it is Made the Author Show, how long did it take you to write your book, and what inspired you, exactly the minute that you decided I'm gonna write a book on this? Tell us about that.
Quite frankly, it didn't come from me. It came from a longtime family friend who I write that in the book because I gave props to her, and she called me. She's in New Jersey. Well, actually she's passed right now. She used to live in New Jersey. She's recently passed. And she said, you should write a book. Thank you. And I knew she was serious. It wasn't like, oh, you should write a book about that. She was really serious. And then I was getting phone calls from people around the country telling me I should write a book. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on with this book thing? And it's like, it was, like, are you working with anybody? I'm like, oh, I've got to find work. I don't have time to write a book. I need to get employment. Who's got time for a book? And it was after I was released from corporate America. So I'm like, I need, to find a job. And I didn't think writing a book was going to be the thing I needed to do. So I said, well, I could do both. I could start looking and writing. And I started, writing, and I would put it down and pick it up and put it down and pick it up. So much so, Sophie, it took over 2 years to write the book, because I would literally put it down for not weeks, but months, like months at a time, where when I would go back to writing, I would dig out, like, where did I put, I was paper. It wasn't just on the computer, putting a Word document together. I would write on papers. I'm like, where did I put that? And start digging through things to find the sheets of paper I would write things on, or quotes I would want to use. And I put it down for a really long time. And then I would pick it up again. I said, well, I think I need to do this, because I realized it wasn't about me. It was to serve others. So the book took on a whole nother meaning when I put myself out of the equation and said, this isn't about me anymore. This is about serving other women who need to hear my voice through the pages of my book.
Were you able to, go ahead. Were you able to process your pain and heaviness going through your sickness after and while you're writing then?
Well, it was reliving it for sure, but it wasn't the same kind of pain, because at this point I had my voice. As I said, it took close to a year to get my voice back. A lot of vocal coaching. It was gone for 4.5 months. I was quarantined for 3.5 months. I was self-quarantined because I was told I was highly contagious and could not be with the public.
Wow.
So that was a depressing time for me. I was like physically, emotionally depressed. I just looked at one of the chapters, as you know, Sophie, called Sunrise and Sunset. Because I looked out my window and that's all I saw was sunrise and sunset. The pain was so severe and intense that I wanted to leave my own body. I didn't want to, I wanted to be here anymore, because it was too much to handle. And, it took me time to realize, after coming through it, it wasn't just like, oh, I should write a book. It was, it was a journey home. And that's what that was like. The last chapter is called A Journey Home. It's because you've got to come back to who you are again. And what, I wasn't spiritual at the time, so I didn't know really what happened, why I went through, other than I was in tremendous pain. And why did I have to go through that? What was the punishment for? Because I felt it was a punishment. And again, it was probably a couple of years after I was released, maybe a year and a half after being released from corporate America, that I realized there was a reason I went through it. And it was like a knock on the head, like, write a book. I'm like, what? I was, even before that knock on the head, the memory of losing my voice and the pain came back. Even before that friend from back east called and said that, I started thinking about the illness. In about 2017 or the end of 20, I'm like, why am I thinking about that? That was years ago. That was 2013. It was 2017. Almost 2018. I was thinking about the illness, and I didn't know why it was coming back to knock on my door. But it came in a way that I was supposed to do something with it, and that was great.
Wow. It's a different story. Let me tell you, I haven't heard of someone actually physically losing their voice and the details that you've been through. And I'm sure there are people out there, but I haven't seen or heard of them in this kind of comeback, that you took this experience and channeled it into redirecting it to a strength and helping others on top of that, and standing in your own voice. Did they even tell you what caused that to happen?
Well, it was a viral infection, and they said I could have gotten it from somebody that was sick, maybe a customer, maybe just like this virus that's going on. You don't know how they're getting it. I mean,
crazy.
I had no idea. Did I handle something that somebody touched that they were sick with? I don't know. I do not. They never knew. I had about 19 vials of blood drawn during the 3.5 month period, where the doctor was trying to figure out what happened to her. Why can't we cure her? And the thing I realized, Sofie and Bob, that we have two of these and only one of these. It's 2 ears and one mouth, which means listen more and speak less. And as much as I like to talk, it's important to listen and to hear people's pains and what they're going through. Because you don't know how to help someone if you're not listening. And that's just in life, not just in transformational coaching that I do, but in relationships. Listen to what's being said. Hear your partner, hear your children, hear their voices. And what is it that they're trying to communicate? Is there something behind the words? Is there a pain there that they're trying to express? Is there something going on so often we don't really hear because we go. And what's the next thing, and we don't stop and listen. And in my book, I was on a hamster wheel, go. And I never stopped. And my best friend used to say, Renee, slow down. People at work, Renee, slow down, breathe, Renee, breathe. And I didn't. Because I just wanted to get more done and more done and more done. And take care of everybody but me.
Yeah.
Until I was brought to a screeching halt. And I could no longer take care of anybody but me. And quite frankly, I could barely take care of me because I was so weak. Wow. So it's losing my voice that I really found my voice.
Yeah. So let me ask you, so people that get your book and they read it, what are the top 3 things that you would like your readers to really embrace and get out of your book? I know each person's going to have their different, but I know because you as the author, what are the top 3 things that you feel is important?
I would say to trust, have faith, and believe. And trust yourself. Believe in yourself. It's not easy to think, well, okay, obviously people are broken down. You know, I was black and blue inside because I beat myself up so much in those limiting beliefs and the stories that I tended to believe that I was told. So we beat ourselves up in so many ways that we don't feel good enough. But that's why we have transformational coaches. That's why I do what I do, to serve people, to let them know to have that belief in themselves and to have faith and to trust. It's hard to trust when, you know, people are betrayed, and it's hard to trust when people have been hurt so much. You don't just say, okay, I'll start trusting again. It's got to build back up. And there's, you know, a process. And I take my clients through that transformation because it's a journey. And it doesn't just snap out of it and say, okay, I'll get better. I'll just start believing. I'll just start trusting. I'll just start having faith. You have to, it's a journey home to yourself. And we get broken down so much to a fault. And it's, you know, having faith and trusting that there is help and there is hope. And when you step away from yourself and say, I'm strong in that belief that there's somebody here to help you, I'll be happy to be that person to listen. I offer 30-minute complimentary coaching sessions and discovery call to see if maybe I'm the right fit, you know, or we're the right fit for each other. So I'd love to explore that with the audience, and if they're open to it, I'd love to be that person, that vessel, the ears and that heart to listen. Yeah. And also in my book, and so if you know this, reading it, I have takeaway sections because I didn't want to just write a book about me, another author writing another book. The first chapter, I introduced the audience, the readers, to my story of what happened. The rest of them are stories within the book, and then I have a takeaway section and pages, line pages to write on, because I want to take the readers through the journey of their own life and finding their own voice. And so I want them, I believe in the power of the pen, and what comes up comes out. So I pose questions, I speak to you through the words on the pages. It's me and you in this book. And I ask you questions to go into yourself and look in the mirror and answer these questions. Because in this way, I can take you through the journey of your life to help you. And I really am I'm grateful to do this. It went to number one on Amazon the day we launched on February 3rd of 2020. And to be a number one best-selling author was the gift of a lifetime. To be able to serve in such a way, to know that there are voices out there that need to be heard, with feelings that need to be expressed, and to be able to be that vessel, that person, that voice to help people through this time in their life. I'm happy to do that. It's a gift I am here to give you. I was brought through this transformation by losing my voice and finding it again to serve others in this way.
Very good. Very good. I know that we're coming down here towards the end, and Sofie, you did ask something about her.
What's your favorite quote and why?
So it has to do with that 4-letter word I spoke of earlier, that word love. And this is from chapter 2. I have quotes at the beginning of each chapter. It's called Sunrise and Sunset. It's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. And it says, where there is love, there is life. And I truly believe that by having love in your life, that you are given life. It breathes air. It breathes life back into us.
Very nice. Yes, absolutely.
Very
A very
nice.
good foundation to operate from, whether it's in intentions or service. When we have that, and as an awareness and joy of really applying it, it is so beautiful. And the sad part is it's easy said, and many find it very difficult to practice. And so we hear it all the time in different ways, but it's not even enough times for people to hear it, because they need to hear it a lot more. If not, we would not be in war, we would not be in division, we would not be in conflicts. A lot of things would not even happen if that word was actually heard and understood and practiced. So yes, very good advice and tip. Thank you, Renee.
Especially with ourselves, practicing that with
Yes.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Self-love. Absolutely. That's a key component. And, you know, if you got to give that self-love to yourself, as I said earlier, then you can pour from the overflow.
Yep. Very good. Now, I know I have your website in the description. If people wanted to get a hold of you, whether for speaking engagements, and you mentioned your coaching earlier, or anything else, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook. You can look my name up, Renee Reisch. On LinkedIn. You can connect with me there. My website's reneereisch.com. Renee at Renee Reisch. You can email me and let me know that it's from this. Put this in the site, in the title, in the subject heading, that it was from Live with Sofie and Bond. When Wisdom Cafe, put that in the subject heading. If you put Wisdom Cafe, I'll know it's from the show. So if you email me, Renee at reneereisch.com, I'll get your email there. I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well. So I'm on all social media platforms. But you can also reach out to me in Messenger, and just let me know that you saw me on the show, and I'll be happy to connect with you. And as I said, if you'd like a 30-minute discovery call, I'll be happy to do that with you as well. And see if there's a fit. I know there's so many out there who are struggling and feel that they don't have a voice anymore and want to give up. But don't give up, because I'm not going to give up on you.
Amen. Awesome. That is so beautiful. Thank you,
And
Renee,
also,
so much.
you're welcome. I would also encourage you to get my book on Amazon.
Book on Amazon.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll
definitely
put
do.
the link in the comments so that they have that. It'll be easy for them to just click the button, and
Yes,
when you
I will
read the
do
book and you like it, just make a review. It always helps.
I would love that. Sofie gave a beautiful review. Thank you again, Sofie. And
Blessings.
for having me on this show. I am honored and privileged to be one of your guests tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure, Renee. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in right here at Wisdom Cafe Meet the Author. And we're looking forward to hear your stories and your success, your challenges in your writing journey. That's going to help many others as well. So reach out if you feel that you have a story to share that's going to be inspiring and help others as well.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
And everybody thank you for having tuned in, and have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead, week ahead, and just stay safe.
Amen.
Yes.
Every one of you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.